Welcome to Hanger 51. How you doing? We're gonna do a little more. I'm gonna brag a little more about the K1C, just because I love the damn thing. I really do. And nobody's doing videos on it because it's not new anymore. This particular machine's over a year old, and all the reviewers have already reviewed it. But I guarantee you, keep looking. I think they're gonna come back to this one and talk about it again. With all the bamboo debacle going on right now, I think you're going to hear more about this printer. I absolutely love it. It's just, I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful. If you've already watched my video, you've already heard me tell you. It's just amazing. It's a month. I've had it a month. I have over 300 hours of print on it. It's been printing nonstop. I just can't stop printing things. I keep coming up with new things to print. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to just tell you a couple. I've had a couple of fails. Let me think. Hang on. I got one here. Yeah, right here. Okay, so it's too fast. Okay, that's the only thing I can come up with. So this was one of the fails. I've had like 3. Well, 3 that weren't my fault. I've had like a few that are my fault, but this isn't my fault. So I was printing a articulating dragon, which I've printed like 6 of them now, I think. I don't know. I've got them all over the place. So I love these things. They're fantastic. They're beautiful. And here. So here's a close-up. Absolutely. And this thing is just amazing. The detail on it, and even the legs articulate on this one, okay? And the detail, like his claw that's holding the ball, you can see where the nail comes out of the nail bed, and it's just amazing. So I love this printer. So I had a fail. Now this fail, I didn't. This is the same G code as this, same file, and this one printed fine, and this one failed. The only thing different is I did an update. I got an update to do. Listen, I hate doing updates. I never do updates. I can't stand. Listen, I'm a firm believer. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I broke my own rule, so I got a message from them that there's an update firmware for the printer. So I downloaded it, and everything was fine, I thought. And then I tried printing the Dragon again. And this is what I got. It failed. And what it is it's trying to go so fast that at the end of the run, where it jerks and goes the other way, it skipped the belt. And you know when it happens is it makes an awful sound. And then when it does that, you're done. Then you get this. This is where it's supposed to be printing on the bed, and it shifted. Because it skipped a couple of teeth on the belt, and now it's printing off, and that's a fail. So I just learned to slow it down, but I undid that update, and then it went back and printed fine again. So I didn't like the update, and I'll probably never do another update. I mean, it'll have to be one that has been proven to be good for quite a while before I'll ever do that again. But I just returned it back to factory settings, and it's been fine since I did that. And so I've left that alone. But I had another fail where I was trying to print a new version of this mask, and the Iron Man mask, and it failed. Again, it was trying to go too fast, so I just slowed the speed down, and it's fine. It's actually printing right now. And the only reason I'm reprinting it is there's a few, if you look closely here, you can see some marks here in the face, okay, and on the eyebrow up here. So it really comes down, this damage is all done from the support, okay? And you got to get creative with how you do supports, and I'm going to do a video on that soon, but it's not this video. But anyways, that's why I'm printing another mask, because this one's got, some defects in it that I don't like, and so I've redone it. And the new one printed now will not have any marks on the face. So, okay, so But yeah, just going too fast. So that was the fail. It's it does that jerk motion so quickly that it threw it so hard that it skipped teeth. And generally that happens if you're doing something um, super tiny, where it's like doing an infill really close together. And if it's trying to go too fast, it could skip the teeth on the belt, and that's what happened. So anyway, other than that, I've had only one other fail. I um, I don't know what happened, but my extruder got jammed out of nowhere. I don't know why. So I took it apart. Not really that hard to take apart. So I took it apart and I looked at everything and I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I spun the wheels inside. The bearings were good. There was no looseness. Everything was good and tight. Everything was fine. I really couldn't find anything wrong with it. So I put it back together, and after I put it back together, the click mechanism that locks it was made way more positive now than before. Before it clicked, but it was kind of a soft click, and now it's a definite click. So something changed when I took it apart and put it back together. I don't know if it was just slightly out of line, or I don't know what the problem was. But maybe they didn't torque it evenly. I'm really big on torquing it evenly. So you run each screw in a little bit, and then when this one touches, you don't go any tighter there. You go over here and you tighten the net. This one touch, and then you tighten, and maybe that was the difference. I don't know, but it's been working perfect ever since then. There was nothing wrong with it. The only other thing, I don't like the way they want you to do a filament change. Okay, they want you to use they have a thing where it retracts the filament, and the problem with that, what happens is it extrudes first, and then it retracts. And if you don't immediately, I mean that second, pull the filament out of it, it's going to jam, and I don't like that. So what I do is I just heat the head up, unlock it, and just pull it out. It comes right out. If you do the extraction, it backs the end out of the heat. Okay, well, it cools instantly if you do that. And if you're not pulling it when you do that, the tip is going to harden, and then it won't come through the extruder. Even when you unlock it, it's going to jam. So just unlock it, heat it up, unlock it, and then just pull it out. And it's worked perfect for me. The only time I've ever had a problem with that was when I tried to do it their way, and it didn't work because I didn't do it immediately. And what I did to fix that, and you could try this too, if you've got a filament jam, you can't get the filament out of it, the best thing to do is heat the nozzle up to 280. Okay, get it good and hot, let it get hot, let the whole thing heat up. Give it 5-10 minutes of heating up so that everything gets warm, and that should get the end of the filament at least soft, maybe not liquefied, but soft. And then on that same screen where you can retract, hit extrude, and then gently push up from the feed line in the back. Just push it up into the thing, wait for it to start running, and see if you can't feed it back in. And if it'll feed back in and get into the hot end, just let it, keep feeding it in until you have to put the lock on that, push it in, hit, lock the extruder, and push it in, and let it extract a little of the filament out of it, and then you know that the end is hot. And then unclick the lock, and just pull it out, and it'll come right out. And that's my best advice on that. And that's on any machine. It doesn't matter if it's a K1, X1, whatever. They all work pretty much the same way. And that's how I would remove it. It's worked perfect so far. You got to make sure you unlock it, though. You're never going to get it out if it's still locked. You're fighting. You're going to be fighting. But just make sure you get it good and hot. Heat it up to 250. Usually I heat it to 250. That's a safe heat. I mean, most of the filaments can work in that range, and that shouldn't overheat the machine in any way or anything. And just, you heat it up, give it a couple minutes. Don't just wait till it hits 250 and, okay, give it a minute. Let it warm the whole thing up. Even the whole area around the extruder. And then just unlock it and pull it out, and it'll come right out. So with that said, that's the only issues I've had with the printer. I've had really no other fails. It's just working perfectly. Like I said, I've got over 300 hours. I've worn the bed out. I mean, it's still working fine. It's still in there, but it looks like hell. And I had a little chunk in the side where does the test print. A little chunk of the coating. You know, they put my buddy does this for a living. I can't think what it's called. Um, Powder coat. So the coating they put on these plates is powder coat, and I literally cut a little piece of it off the bed, cleaning the bed with a knife. Yeah, it just caught an edge or something. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of damage on the bed, you know, because it's got, like I said, over 300 hours. So I bought another. I got a replacement one on standby. So when this one finally doesn't work anymore, I'm not going to be sitting around waiting. I already bought a replacement one. It's ready to go. So we're good there. So so I'm excited about some new prints I did. First one I'm going to show you is I actually was able to print the entire helmet for Iron Man. And this is full size. I didn't have to downsize it at all. It fit in the printer, printed the whole thing, and it's in pieces. So the face mask is one piece. The lip, which is still in the gold, that's one piece. The chin piece, which goes all the way back to back here. Okay, that's the chin piece. Then the helmet is this, and then the ears. And I know the ears and the back, and then there's the back piece. And I know the ears and the back piece is supposed to be red, but I left them this way because I wanted to show you the quality of some of this stuff. So now this I painted, but you see the layer lines in here. So I did almost no prep at all. I mean, I sanded on the bare filament for like 5 minutes on the whole helmet. I just kind of wiped it off with sandpaper and painted it. And this is Rust-Oleum paint. No primer, no prep, just painted it. And I just did that to show you. I wanted it to be red. I didn't have any red filament at the time, so I printed it with that rainbow color. So, and I don't know if I can show you the inside of the helmet. But anyway, trying to print the entire helmet has been a struggle. So here I have 2 failed prints. This one I had on the bed. This is the back of the helmet. Okay. So the mask would be kind of like this. All right. And that failed. Don't know why. I have no idea. Just quit. Stop printing. So then I turned the helmet upside down. So this is the top of the helmet. The face mask meets right here, like this. Okay. And that didn't work either. But I kind of like it's sitting on the bed this way. And I'll tell you why. It'll be easier to show you that I finally have a whole helmet. All right, don't worry about the color because I'm going to paint it. All right, and the reason I've got to paint it is there's a lot of, and it doesn't matter if you print it right side up or upside down. When you get into the horizontal, the top of a round object, and I can demonstrate that with this. It doesn't even have to be a round object. It's just when you get to the top surface, like the top of my this Hellcat. Let me switch cameras. You're going to get this, okay? And it looks terrible, but it's not as bad as it looks. And you just but you have to. You're going to end up sanding, okay? You're going to have to sand this smooth, okay? So that's what we've got with the top of the helmet. Is a lot of these little nipples are part of the. This is all the support. Okay, so it's a trade-off. Okay, you can either have to sand off this support. Now the inside's beautiful. It's because it was printed in this position. Okay, just like this. This is exactly the position it was in. Because you can see right there, that's the center of the roof of the
You see that round oval? Okay, that's that basically. Okay, and then this side's got all of this stuff because of the support. Okay, so switching back. So why did I print it in this position? Why didn't I print it in this position? Well, this is why. Okay, in this position, you only have that touching the bed. That little corner right there is the only thing touching the bed. And you get support around it, but that's about it. And then none of this is touching the bed either, right here. So you're going to print for hours of just this triangle right here. It's going to go from here, and it's not going to touch the back half of the helmet until you're all the way up to here, where the ear cup comes together. So these two are going to print on separate pieces of the bed until you get all the way up to the top of the ear. And this is going to be a very hard sell to keep it in place and then have it meet successfully. Okay, you're talking about 4 to 6 hours before you get to where you've got the entire helmet on the plate, in one piece. You're going to have 3 separate pieces for about 6 hours, depending on the speed you print at. I'm getting to that in a second here. Okay, so yeah, I already did this. Here it is, and it failed. Okay, so what I did is I slowed it down. I instead of running at 200 or 300% speed, or 2 to 300 millimeters per second. I slowed it down to 100 millimeters a second, which is faster than the first layer was printed at 60. So I sped it up just a little bit from the 60. It took 15 hours to print, but the sides of the helmet, every part of the helmet is perfect. The back of the helmet here, all the detail. Switch the camera again. You've got this relief here, the shelf, that makes it look like it's layered. And then the line here, which is a little rough because there were supports. Basically, these were stuck in here like this. Okay, so you break those off. There's a little bit of touch up here, but the rest of the helmet is just beautiful. And this part here is super smooth. Even looks horrible, but it's very smooth. So it's just the very, very top that you have to do a little sand work. And you're going to have to do sand work. You're never going to get this helmet to print perfect in any position. I don't care if you lay it on the side or upside down. It doesn't matter. When you get to this part of the print, the top surface, you're going to end up with this. This is what happens no matter what's, it doesn't matter. So you're always going to have to sand this. And this is very smooth to the touch. But it's off enough that you're going to have to sand for hours to smooth this out enough to feather fill with primer and filler and whatever, and then paint it. Okay, there's no way around it. It's going to happen. You're going to have to do it. So that's why I printed it in this psychedelic color, because I knew I was going to have to paint it red anyway. There was no way I was going to get away with, not having to paint it. So that's, and other than that, it really came out beautiful. There's no damage from that I can detect. I don't have any tree damage and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so my very first, I got 3 masks here I printed, and I printed them all different. And honestly, the first one was the best, which was this one. No, I'm sorry, it was this one. And the reason I printed it again, and this came out very nice, and I'll show you here on the camera. You know, it's got very good lines here. It needs a little sanding right there on that edge, but it came out really nice, except for the top. Okay, right here is horrible, and over here, and this is actually all loose. This isn't this isn't down at all. This is all loose. Now, yeah, it's easy fix. I mean, I can run some glue. You can see, and the biggest problem is I didn't put any infill in this. So this thing oil cans pretty easy. You know, because there's zero infill. It's very light, but it has no structural strength. Okay, but I got the best finish. You know, this came out really good. But the problem with it is the tree did all this damage. Okay, and it wasn't even stuck here, but it did all that damage. And then on this side, it did this here. Okay, and so now I got to repair it anyway. You know, so if I'm going to have to repair it and then paint it, it really doesn't matter what position it is. So this was looking back. This was not the right position, but closer than I did afterwards, because the tree that was, you know, because it was sitting upright like this, and the tree had to grab the top of this brow here, but it grabbed the inside of the brow in here, all right, which is good. I want that. Whereas these were printed more upright. I'll show you this one. So this area is perfect, okay? Nothing to do here. This has got infill in it, so it's rock solid. But I had two issues with this particular mask. Well, three. One, I don't know what happened here. This mark here will not sand out. You know, I don't. It looks like a birthmark. I don't know I don't know what happened there. I have no idea what's causing that, because it happened there on every line, on every layer of this, and I don't know what happened. I have no idea what caused that. You see, instead of being in here on this edge, because I had it leaned over so far this way, that it's really attached itself to the front edge, and I don't want that. So we're going to have to stand it. You know, I'm going to have to stand it up more this way to get it. I want it reattached to that. But in the upright position here, it fixed this. But then we had a new problem. You see this line right here? Oh God! Somebody had a light pole out front here and knocked power out. And I didn't have it. I didn't have that on a UPS. I do now. You know, an auxiliary power unit, battery backup. So and it was really bad right here. You see that mark there is where it gobbed a bunch of filament, because that's where the head was. It stopped right there, and then they extruded out more filament, and it glued itself right there and made a mess. And so this had a very severe line. This one is much better, even though there's a really edge right there. This one's gone. I sanded it completely out. It's perfectly smooth here. This is smooth as a baby's butt. So you can sand all of this out of it if you really want to get like these wavy layer lines and stuff. If you really want the helmet perfect, you can sand it and then repaint it. But I was looking for a print that I could just take off and keep it just like this without, you know, because this half I did put after I sanded this, I shot a coat of clear on here just to shine it back up and make it look more, you know, closer to the. So on the, you know, if you're looking at this camera, you can't tell really. You know, this looks pretty good, but it's not acceptable. I don't, you know, so I'm going to have to print it again. Here's another on the inside. It left, you know, where it left that mark on the outside where the head stopped. Look what it left on the inside. Okay, so there's that big glob right there that it left on the inside. And that's what happened when, you know, it stops. It remembers the file. It took off. after I restored power, I went and got my generator and restored power because it was going to be out for a while. Somebody hit a light pole. I started printing again, and it printed right where it left off, almost perfectly. I did nothing to this side. It's out of a line just slightly. There's a tiny, tiny little edge right there that you know will sand out perfectly, and then there's an edge here that will sand out. But you know, I'm just going to print it again. But I wanted to sand this down to see how it worked out, and you know, you can get all of the layer lines gone. I mean, you can't hear anything, whereas okay, but here nothing. This is super smooth now, but I couldn't get rid of this. It's an indent. It's a line that's deeper than I want to sand. You know, at this point, I would just put primer on here, fill this with primer, give it a quick sand again. That line would be gone, and then I could paint it. You know, and that would be fine. But I don't want to have to paint the mask. Maybe eventually, and that's why I haven't thrown any of these mats away, because you know, this one came out pretty good, but we still have a defective area here, and I changed the angle again. You know, so all three of these are printed at different angles, and this one looks really good here, the front brow area, because again it grabbed up in here. You know, inside the inside lip here, which is what I wanted, but we have more damage on the front right here from the tree. The tree is too close to the helmet. It's in this position here, and it's up against it, so it's literally creating damage to the helmet. Here, all of this here is damage from a tree. This is damage from a tree. I sanded that one out, and then it wasn't standing upright enough, so we were getting into that flat area again. It wasn't, you know, you need it, you know, vertical. If it's horizontal, you start to get this, but it's a lot better than the first one. But we're still not, you know, and this was really close. But I could live with this, you know, but I don't want to live with this. All this face damage here, more here, because there was, you know, it was in the brow all the way across, even in this line here, where above the nose area. You know, there was, you know, this stuff was in here, just like that, and so it, you know, and it was right up against, you know. So if it's more like this, you see the difference. You know, this is right up against it. If you get the angle a little farther, it's not touching it anymore. It's off of it. So that's what I got to do. I got to pretty much print it in this position, so that this isn't touching. You know, when it builds the tree, it'll stay off the. But I don't want it so far that it, you know, like I did here, because it was in this position, and that's when it attached itself to the brim, to the leading, instead of inside the here, it attached itself to the front edge here, which made that very rough, and that's going to need a lot of sanding. So I don't like that. So you gotta figure out how you want to put this stuff, you know, on the bed to get the best results. Okay, and like I said, if I had printed it in the position they wanted, which is, I tried that, and all I got was, I saved them. I got, before it failed, all I got were big triangles. You know, it cut off about here. Okay, so all I got was a triangle, you know, from the base, you know, going here, up here, and up here, and straight across. And it by the time it got, I don't even think I made it to the ear. I don't think it had started the ear yet. I was right at the point here where the ear starts to form. It is as high as it got, and it failed. These broke loose because there's nothing holding them on. You know, you got a little brim here and a couple of supports at the bottom, and that's it. That's all you get, and it failed. So you want to keep, you know, this orientation I thought was going to work because everything's up in the air. Actually, I think I was closer to this. So this is vertical, and this is horizontal a little bit, but it would have handled that fine. And it could have printed slicing this way, but it failed. And that's this one. Okay, so that's how this was printing, and it made it to there and failed. You know, it was basically like that. So we got, you know, about, well, I could flip it around and put it exactly where it was. Because here, again, you see that there's that relief in the back of the helmet right there. All right, so that's where this was in relationship. Okay, and that's all the farther that one got, because that's lined up exactly where it would have been had it kept printing. Okay, so that's all the farther that one got. Kind of hard to line that up, but yeah. So that was in this position, and that didn't work. And you can't put it just in anywhere. It won't. This is a full-size helmet, and I didn't decrease the volume of this at all. This is exactly a full-size helmet. It fits. Okay, no problem. It fits the head, you know, and the face piece. Kind of hard to get on here, but okay. So that's the face piece in you know. So that's. Okay, so this is all lined up. So, and I got a fairly big head. It's not a small head, so it fits. You know, this is the full scale helmet on my K1C. So it will print a helmet. Not going to print one of those big Star Wars goofy, you know, stormtrooper helmets, but it prints this helmet just fine. Okay, and then there you have it. There's that, and I'm going to print the chin piece next, and that's what you got, you know. So we're gonna continue on. I have to print the ear pieces yet, and the chin piece. There's a few more pieces to this, and I'm probably going to print a new one of these. But for now, I'm going to use this one for now. This is my first one with no infill. And just for display purposes, we'll work with this one. All right. So okay. So we've done a little sanding here, prep work. Gonna do a little bondo. I'll get the camera up close here, but we smoothed a lot of this out. And we're a little low, so let me go here and show you up close here. So this feels pretty smooth, actually. I know it looks awful, and that's what the bondo's for, especially this groove here. We really have to we really got to fill this in here, and then I've got to build this up here on both sides. Here, right here, and right here. Because this, when it's matched up, is too low. See how low it is there? It doesn't match. So I'm going to have to build that up with Bondo to get that to match. Yeah, it's smoothed out pretty good. You know, this is This is pretty smooth. Of course, there's a little pock mark there. We got to fill with the Bondo, and then these two lines here, and then of course these steps here going across here and here. Got to fill those up with some Bondo. Get the got to get this raised up so I can match it to the visor, to the mask, and then fill this all. And there's a little bit of a step right here. So basically, I've got to put a thin coat to build it up to where this is. But the rest of the helmet's beautiful. This is so smooth. Sides are nice and flat. They're perfectly smooth. Yeah. So this is gonna come out pretty good. I think this is gonna be doing it this way. I think it's gonna be the least amount of work to get a really nice looking helmet out of this. Like I said, this is pretty smooth. I know it looks awful, but it really is pretty smooth. So, all right, and then I printed the lips. Okay, so this they call this the lips, and then this was a chin that failed. Okay, so this is the chin piece. It's going to go. It mates up to the helmet about like this. Okay, and then this piece sits on top of it like this. They call this the lips. Okay, so that sits on there like that, and then the mask sits on that like this. Okay, so that's basically the way the helmet looks. So I got to get. So I'm printing the chin piece now. Now this one failed, so we're gonna print it again. It failed. This failed because I had it on with the helmet. I had the two print together. These two print together. And it failed. I had this inside. Basically, I had it sitting in. I had this on the plate just like that, and I had this inside it like that on the plate. And there's plenty of room for it to print inside there. But of course, when the helmet failed, it ruined the chin piece too. So we're printing them separate. All right. I was going to have to use fill anyway of primer or something, and so I just used, just red paint, and I'm going to sand it and put fill in. I got a lot. There's still a lot of work to do, but I wanted to show you basically what it comes off the printer looking like. Okay, and then look at the earpiece. I mean, it's perfect. It's got a little texture in it. If I can get it in the light right. I mean, the outer edge has got that neat looking, like marks on it, and there it is. And then you can see there's a pattern, I guess you could call it, on the earpiece. Okay, and they're both the same. The other earpiece, and there's the helmet again. Oh, I had a little run in the paint, no big deal. But yeah, it's just everything is printing so beautiful. Okay, and then see this helmet again. You see in the eye here, that's where the supports did some damage in the eye. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole show on supports and infill. We're going to talk about that. So that's coming up. Keep your eyes open for that. But yeah, the helmet came out really nice. And like I said, this is a full-size helmet, and it fit no problem on the bed of the K1C. Okay, so now I know you're not gonna be able to print a stormtrooper helmet, on here, but this is a full size. I didn't downsize this. This is a full size Iron Man helmet, and it printed fine. And this is just sitting on here, so this comes off, and I've got it's just taped together, and I've got the lip piece taped to the face mask. So
And then inside here, well, you can kind of see the rainbow color filament in there. So that's what I use just to print it. And then like I said, I painted it red. And yeah. So anyway, beautiful. I can't wait to get the new mask. It's printing right now. And I've printed 3 masks. They all had some kind of issue. The one that's on here is actually the best one, but it's still. I didn't put it. This is hollow. I didn't put any infill in this at all, and it's oil canning. It's so thin and so light that when you press on it, you can actually oil can it. And I'm not happy with it, but it's a really good print. A little damage on the top, right here. Because I had this laying back like this quite a ways. So now this is flat, and I'll show you here. So there's a little bit of damage right here in the corners. You see right there? This up here is, and I think, yeah, that's the bad side. This side's not as bad. But I can do better. Oh, yeah, see? Right there. Yeah. So I'm experimenting with the angles, between angles and support to get, and I'm learning a lot about, doing this kind of stuff. So it's coming out pretty good. So, all right, so I did that. That was really cool. So then I got really creative, and I printed this. Okay. So this was and I'm experimenting with how I'm going to refinish this. All right, I really like the for you guys, this is a Klingon bat'leth. It's a warrior weapon, and I'm and I'll show you here. So I'm sanding out the edge. See, they look like this. You see how rough it's supposed to be, machined steel for a knife edge. Okay, but if you work on it, I've been sanding on it, and you see it really is turning into that knife edge. I got a little more sanding to do on that one. So I've really been working on it. And I'm going to tell you something. These pokey ends are sharp. I keep stabbing myself with this thing while I'm working on it. Now this end I tried some paint filler and fooling around with different color paints, and I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to go with yet. But even that crisp line down the middle where the two because it's sharp on both sides. It's sharp here and here. Okay, and when the two come together, you get that very distinct line right there where the two edges come together. And this bugger is pointy. I mean, it's sharp. Look at how sharp the edge is on this. Let me get back it up a little bit. And I haven't even sanded this one yet. So the little bit of marks you see right there, they'll sand out, and then you get this perfect edge, like this one. And I'm not done yet. Got a lot more sanding to do. So, and I gotta paint the grip area, and then I'm gonna. Yeah, I did paint just fooling around. I've got to do more work on it, but it has the Klingon emblem in it. So I printed this, and then I thought, I think I can make it bigger. So I did. So then I printed this one, and this one's big. It's quite a bit bigger than this one. Okay, it's a good 8 inches. Let me go this way. Okay, when you put the two together here, hang on. It's about 8 inches longer. Okay, see here? This is the short one, and now this one's way the hell out here. So it's quite a bit bigger. And I did start work on this one. I did paint the grip, and I'm doing the edges on this one too. I think I started on this edge here. Sharpening up this edge. And but yeah, if you stab yourself with these points, man, it hurts. These things are sharp. I mean, I'm literally sharpening them just like you would a real steel blade, you know, and they really get looking machined. So that's what I'm going for, that machined look. So that one's not perfect yet. Got some more work to do on it. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on. And then I put the Klingon, I painted the Klingon. Now see, this one's split right down the middle. This one's not. You know, and that was my fault. You know, hey, I'm learning as I go, guys. You know, I've never listened. 7 years of Ender 3 and nothing but failed prints, and now I got a machine that'll print anything. So I'm getting creative now. So yeah, so now I've made a damn near. This is 1 meter. That's how big this is. It's exactly 1 meter in length, and that's really the max. It's printed in 4 pieces, and I don't know if you can see where the on this one you can kind of see it. I don't think you can see them on this one. Yeah, so you can't tell. Well, yeah, right here. No, that's the painted one. Yeah, this one you can't see it. The seam, well, you kind of can. The seam is right here, all right, and it's crooked, it's diagonal. And then on this one, it's right here. Okay, and that's where the seam is, and then down the middle, but it's not right down the middle. So 4 pieces. So this is the max my printer, obviously, because the bed height on the K1C is 250. So each one of these sections is 250. That equals 1,000 millimeters, which is 1 meter. So this is exactly 1 meter, and it's got the nice Klingon emblem in it. And I did the grip. I just painted this with some satin paint to give it. I didn't want it to be shiny. I wanted it to have a leather look to it, and I think that came out pretty good. And yeah, so very, very cool. I just love wheeling this thing around. I can't wait to finish it. I got a lot more work to do to it to finish it, but it's getting there. So anyway, very cool though. So I got really excited about. I've had more fun making these batlets than I did the Iron Man helmet. So yeah, guys. So that's about all I got. I just wanted to show you guys the Iron Man helmet that is full size, prints on the K1C, which is 250. It's what is it? 220 by 220 by 250. Okay, and that's big enough to print an Iron Man helmet at full scale. All right. So I put it on, but I taped the back. This back piece here is taped on, and you can't get the helmet on with this piece in place. Now let me show you the quality of the back piece here. So that's why I didn't paint it. I wanted you to see. And I sanded it on just a tiny bit, but the layer lines there. That's what I was trying to show you. Look at how nice that came out. I mean, it's really nice. And so yeah. So anyway, you have to take that off, which I'm going to put magnets on everything. So so the faceplate will magnet on, and the back piece will magnet on. So all I got to do is take the piece off, put the thing on my head, and then snap the magnet piece in the back, and it'll stay on my head, and then this will stay on with magnets. And I'll probably put the lights in it. I don't know. I'm not going to do any cosplay anytime soon, but if I do, I'll have what I need to go do that. So, but yeah, guys, I can't tell you how great the K1C is. God, I love this machine. It's just been 300 hours, and I've had next to nothing. I mean, I had to take the extruder apart. Nothing wrong with it. Put it back together, and it's working better than it did when I got it. So I actually repaired it that I didn't even know it needed repair, because it wasn't extruding. I mean, it was working fine. It was doing, but like I said, the click wasn't as positive. It's more positive now. So I got something aligned even better than it was from the factory, because now it snaps into place even better, and it's working perfect. So I don't even know why it was stuck. But yeah, the getting the filament out of it, man, I don't recommend that extraction thing unless you got to be right there, and the second it's done back in the filament out of the hot end, you've got to have that lock open and yank. Otherwise, it's going to cool, and it's going to have a little ball on the end of it, and you're not going to be able to get it out. So that's why I don't even bother. Just unlock it and just pull it straight out, because it comes right out of the as I'm pulling, it's coming right out of the hot end, so that the end of it is still soft, and it comes right through fine, super easy. So that's the way I would do it. I'm not using the extraction button anymore. I didn't care for that. It was just, like I said, it's to get that thing unlocked and pull as quickly as you can. It's just easier to just pull it. You know, it's still in the hot end when you unlock it. So you unlock it, and then you just pull it, and it comes right out of the hot end and goes right through the extruder, and it's perfect. So that's how I would do it. So that's going to do it, guys. And one other thing, if any of you guys are new, listen, I was trying to do a video, and life gets in the way, but there were 2 printers on sale for $139, and both of them were great bed slingers. So for beginners, and listen, Chinese New Year is going to be over in 11 days. Wait till it's over and see if they don't have another sale, for end of Chinese New Year sale, right? Or maybe it'll be a Valentine's Day sale. But there'll probably be a sale, and it was the Sovo, the VO7 was on sale for $139, and the Neptune 3 was on sale for $159. That was almost $200 off, and both of those were on my list of printers to buy when I was buying this. As a matter of fact, those were the 2. When I got to my final 3, I'm going to buy one of these 3. Those 2 printers were not on sale. So I think the Sovo was $239. It was on sale for $139, but the sale ended yesterday. Sorry. And then the Neptune 3 was on sale for, it's normally $379, and it was on sale for $189. So $190 off. And and those 2 were on my, I narrowed it down to these 3, the K1C and these 2. And these 2 were attractive because of the price. And if I had seen them at the sale price, I wouldn't have the K1C. I would have bought one of these at the sale price. But they're back up to, at $379. This was only $430. It was $50 more to have the K1C. So that was a no-brainer. The Sovo was still at $279, something like that. So that one was tempting, but I just decided I didn't want another bed slinger, and I wanted a cabinet, and I just decided I'm going to pay the extra. That's how I ended up with K1C. But both of these printers are gotten very good reviews. They were both on sale. I suspect, actually, the Neptune's still on sale, but they sold out. It was such a good deal, they sold out of them. So I suspect when they get back from Chinese New Year, they might run the sale again, because they probably want to move machines. And they moved enough that they sold out of them. So keep your eyes open for that. 11 days, and then start looking for new sales. When the Chinese New Year's over, look for new sales. I think you're going to find some good bargains on everybody's machines. But if you're looking for a beginner machine, those would be my 2 picks. The Neptune 3 or the Sovo 7. Sovo. The Sovo 7. Now there's both of those are auto bed leveling. They got the hot end, the direct drive extruder. All the good. Both of them you can operate from your phone. They have all the bells and whistles of the new machines. The only downside to them is they're open air and they're bed slingers. And I really didn't want to do that again. I can tell you that you can't print this on a bed slinger of quality. What I mean by that is it's printed in this position, okay? Unless you've got it filled with support on front and back, it's going to fling off the bed because the bed's going to be doing this and it's going to flip it off because I only have support down here on the bottom and it won't hold because it's falling off my bed and it doesn't move. So it's never going to survive a bed slinger. And this is what I'm talking about, the difference between a core machine and a bed slinger. Is when you're trying to print something like that, if you're going to put support on it because you're going to paint it, no problem. You put a bunch of support on it, it'll stay on the bed, you can print it, break the supports off, sand it, prep it, paint it, you'll be fine, no problem. But if you want it to come off the machine perfect, you got to remove most of this. You know, I only have support on the back side now, and it would not stay on the machine because the back supports don't come into play until we're this high on the top of the eyebrow. All right, so from here to here, the only support is down here at the bottom, and it would never stay on a bed slinger. It would break it loose. So that's the difference between a bed slinger and a core machine. Is when you're trying to print something, this no problem, it'll print fine. It's low, it's on the bed, not going to try to come off. This one, the higher it gets, the more it's going to try to fling itself off the bed. So that's why the core machines are better. But that doesn't mean you can't print any of this stuff on a bed slinger. You can. But, again, you'd have to be running more support on this to keep it on a bed slinger. Whereas I'm running almost no support now because it doesn't move. It just sits here and everything, just comes. This drops down out of the top. And so it doesn't have that slinging motion. So, all right, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I've got links down at the bottom for, well, you know what? I'm not going to put the links there because the sales are over. I'm really sorry about that. But there is going to be pictures of this. If I haven't already showed them. I might have already fed them into the, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I already did the, what this helmet looked like before I painted it and then after I painted it. And I already did that. And I might have already showed it, and if I didn't, it's coming up now. Yeah, I take care of all that in editing, so we'll have to see how I edit it. But if it's not already done, here it comes. All right? All right, thanks for watching, and comment at the bottom, like, subscribe. Listen, guys, if you want me to bring you a lot more content, just, it doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe. If you don't want to ring the bell, don't ring the bell. That's fine. Just subscribe. And you won't get notified. You're just supporting me without getting notifications. If you want the notifications, ring the bell. But if you don't, just subscribe. And then hit the like button. All this helps me get more views to get my information out to more people. And then that gets my information out to the makers of this stuff, Creality and whoever. And maybe they'll send me something to review, and I can give you guys even more information. I can tell you I'm not going to buy another printer right now, but if somebody happened to send me one, I'd be happy to review it for you. So anyway, so just, it doesn't cost you anything. Click the buttons and help me out, and so I can help you out. And comments, guys. What do you want to see me do next? What do you want to see printed? Because I'm ready to print anything. So give me a challenge. If you want to see something, I'm surprised that nobody's done batlets. I looked online how many people have 3D printed a batlet, and nobody has. I mean, it's like, really? I couldn't find especially Frankie. He's done every knife you can think of. I love his show, and he's done every kind of big ass giant killer knife. He didn't do a batlet. Why didn't he do a batlet? So I did the batlet. I'm going to take credit. I'm the first one to do a non-review of a printer that did a batlet, because I haven't seen anybody else do it. So anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See ya.